Hi friends, Prepared Suburbanite here, back at you. Today is November 10th, 2021. It's my dad's, if he was still alive, it would have been his 102nd birthday. So hats off to my dad, and a happy birthday to the U.S. Marine Corps. And for all the Marine buddies that I've got, some that are still with us and some that aren't, here's to Patrick and to Tim. Happy birthday, Marines. I just saw an article Michael Snyder put up on his website about the inflation and what's going on with that. So I want to talk a little bit about inflation. And, I can certainly remember back in the 70s when inflation was going crazy. I think we're right around the corner from the crazy times again. So I also got my Camp Chef stove, the propane tanks all set, and I picked up the griddle for it. So while I'm seasoning the griddle for the first time today, I'll be shooting the breeze about the inflation and what we can do about it as the prepper community. So stick around. So what I found works the best for seasoning a brand new piece of cast iron is to make sure that the griddle or the pan is clean. So I washed this one out with just warm water and kind of a scrubby brush just to get any of the particles that were in the shipping container and stuff like that out of there. So I got it cleaned up, got the fire started, put it on the fire, low heat first, and then increase the heat just a little bit until you get it to the right temperature. And that's going to depend on the type of thing it is. A griddle's going to be a little bit different than a pan. So once you get it up to the right temperature, I use bacon grease. We generally keep a little bit of bacon grease around for greasing pans and cooking with and stuff like that. So we've got a little bit of bacon grease in the fridge pretty much all the time. And that's what I'm using as the seasoning agent for this new griddle. So I got it started, put the first coat on, and found that it was a little bit too hot. So I had to turn the heat down just a little bit because it was starting to really smoke up pretty good. So I may have to adjust it just a little bit more because it's, yep. Should be just a little bit of smoke coming off of that as it works its way in. So with that said, the cast iron, and I've always had good luck using an outdoor grill to season cast iron. I stumbled across a 9-inch cast iron pan that belonged to my parents, and it hadn't been used in years. It was in our old camping box. So I got that out just the other day and ran it through, used the grill, not this one, but the one on the deck, and got it up to temperature and got it all seasoned. Probably did 20 coats of the seasoning on it, and we used it this morning for our breakfast. We cooked bacon and eggs in it, a couple of little sticky spots here and there, but it turned out really, really good. So after it's been sitting for years and years, it came back just absolutely marvelous. So I'll keep tending this, and we'll talk a little bit about what's going on with inflation right now. Michael Snyder put a very interesting article up on his website And he basically says, if you've got a bad feeling about 2022, you're not alone. And he goes into some statistics that I think are pretty revealing. And I can remember the days in the 70s when inflation was just absolutely out of control. Home mortgage prices were 14 to 16%. Gasoline had gone from 30 cents a gallon to well over $1.50, and you could only get gasoline on every other day, depending on the number on your license plate. And you could only get 10 gallons or only 5 gallons, and it was pretty much something back in those days. So the only positive thing I can remember was that a CD, a certificate of deposit, was paying 12 and 13%. That was pretty good. And my dad used that to help his retirement on. So, but anyway, here's some of the statistics that Michael Snyder put out, and they're available all over the place. So, wholesale prices. Now, that's the consumer price. No, that's the producer price index. So, wholesale prices is the producer price index, and that rose 8.6% compared to September last year to September this year. It's the largest increase on record. The consumer price index from October to October was 6.2%. So the producer price index is more of a forecast of what's coming than the consumer price index, which is really kind of what's going on today. So there's a big 2 full percentage point gap right now in the futures. So the futures aren't looking real good. He referenced the memorandum that Kraft Heinz put out for its January line of business. It plans to raise prices on hundreds of items beginning January 9, including Jell-O gelatin, pudding. They'll be jumping 7 to 16%. Bagel bites, not my favorite, but they're going to be going up 7 to 10%. Easy Mac is going up 3.5%, and a 7.25 ounce dish of Kraft Big Bowl macaroni and cheese will see a 20% price hike. Yep, 20% for macaroni and cheese. So now we'll talk a little bit about gasoline. Nationwide averages as of Tuesday, which would be yesterday, the 9th, was, according to the AAA, was $3.42. And we've all heard the anecdotal stories about what's going on in California, where there's $7, $7.50 a gallon, that kind of stuff. Well, that's California, and sorry if you live there. The chip shortage that I talked about in my last video when we went Jeep shopping and found only one new Jeep on the lot, anywhere in the whole county, by the way. The CEO of Infineon, which is one of the largest chip makers, said that the chip shortage is going to last well into next year. Well, yeah, it's pretty close to 2022, but well into 2022, that means 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, 10 months, who knows? But that's going to last for quite some time. The supply chain crisis is still going on. There doesn't seem to be an end in sight. There doesn't really seem to be any definitive progress being made to get all those barges unloaded and get the containers out and get them delivered. It's just not happening. So what we're hearing about is the trucker shortage and what may be some of the causes of the trucker shortage and what's going on there. I don't know what's going on. and I don't think anybody else does either. But something changed dramatically about 10 months ago, 9.5 months ago, January 20th of 2021. Things changed quite a bit. And as a result of that, we're all suffering. I just heard that the Biden administration right now wants to cut another pipeline. It's going to be a devastating cut. The Keystone Pipeline was under construction and really wasn't delivering any oil or whatever it was designed to deal with. I'm pretty sure it's oil. But this pipeline is in production. In fact, it's been in production for decades, and it needs some major repair work to keep it up to snuff. And he's seriously considering shutting it down right now. You want to see your gas prices go up? Wait until you see the effect of that one. The other major issue that I see that's going to impact inflation, impact the supply chain crisis, is this mandate that OSHA has been ordered to put in place. There's, as far as I understand it, there's been a court indicating, a court somewhere, don't know which one, but they said, hey, you can't do that. We're gonna put a lid on that and argue this out soon. But for right now, there's a temporary ban on the mandate. So the Biden administration responded in their typical fashion, is to just to hell with the court. We're going to just proceed to do what we wanted to do anyway, and the collateral damage be damned, I guess. If the Supreme Court, when they finally hear this case, and I've heard both sides of the argument back and forth, but if the Supreme Court upholds the Biden administration's position that OSHA is empowered to do what they're doing with this mandate, you ain't seen nothing yet. The impact of that on pretty much everything. Our police forces, fire departments, EMTs, first responders, truck drivers, hospital workers, you name it, it's going to get ugly. And that's why all this put together is the biggest reason that we need to be prepping in earnest with everything that we've got. Every unbudgeted dollar that you got, you should be buying rice and beans, buying the stuff that you and your family eat on a regular basis. Buy that kind of stuff, stockpile it. I know that economics is tough for a lot of people, and a lot of folks are living paycheck to paycheck. Some folks are not even getting that close to it. But if you got an extra buck, buy an extra can of soup. You got an extra buck here, a buck there, invest it in things that you know that you're gonna have to be eating when the whole thing shuts down. If that supply chain crashes, it's a crisis right now, but when it crashes, we're not going to see anything on the shelves in the supermarket. So you're going to have to depend on yourself, depend on your family, depend on your friends, your community, your mutual assistance group, whoever you're in alignment with. There's going to be a dependency there. It starts with you. It starts with your own personal stockpile of extra stuff. And I really want you to take a good hard look at everything that you're prepping for, everything that you've got put away in your storeroom, in your backstage, in your garage, in your pantries. Take a good look at it and get it organized, fill in the gaps, do the best that you can with what you've got, Give up a Starbucks coffee, give up the going to a movie, that kind of stuff. If that's what you're doing, you got to make some sacrifices to be able to see through this upcoming storm. Stay prepped. Do it now. This is the Prepared Suburbanite reminding you to be prepared always, and I'll see you all on my next video.